You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show where we're Morbin all the time.
Help, I'm Morbin out!
Oh no, it's Morbin time!
I'm Josh.
I'm Sam.
And hopefully after this we'll be more billionaires. I'm Cody.
Oh, we have a great show for you this week, a bunch of news, but first let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out!
Still no clips. We're gonna lay low on the clips for a few weeks, and then when they come back, people will be more excited for the clips.
Like Family Guy cutaways.
Exactly. Less is more.
Remember that time when...
Yeah.
Hey, Lois!
Giggity. A very lackluster giggity.
Giggity, that's Family Guy.
Yep.
Hello, I'm the Family Guy.
All right, so
I'm the evil baby.
Ooh, grumpy.
Kill
I'm gonna.
Lois? Does he still do that? I don't think he does
know
anymore.
anymore.
It's all about him and Brian's like weird
Wacky
friendship.
adventures.
Yeah.
It's Brian and Stewie is Rick and Morty light.
Yeah.
As a pairing, kind of at this point.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some things we've been doing, and I'll tell you what I did. I'm morbed.
You morbed all over the place.
Yes. I watched much maligned 2022 Sony films in association with Marvel Entertainment's Morbius. And hey, guess what? That movie sucks.
Starring Jared Leto as John Mobius. Morbius.
Michael Morbius. That's the name. Yep.
Oh, Mike Morbius.
Yeah.
Quit touching your mic.
Morbius.
Morbius. So I want to do a deep dive on this movie because it's garbage and no one should see it. I watched it, so you don't have to. So it's baffling how bad this film is. The best way I can describe it is, the feeling that you guys had going into the Venom movie without knowing in hindsight that Venom was going to be a good movie,
or at least an entertaining movie.
It's that feeling. It's what Venom should have been, like an overly dramatic, garbage film with bad CG effects and just a ludicrous plot. So first thing right off the bat, it says in the opening credits, there's like 3 credits in a row that all say in association with Marvel Entertainment. So they really wanted to drive home that this is a Marvel film, kind of. Although the in association part seems much larger than it has in other Sony funded films. Like Marvel was like, maybe we should let go. This isn't really us. Yeah. This isn't really us. So Morbius is the story of Michael Morbius, who has a blood disease that makes his legs bad. That's the only thing I can tell that was wrong with him, was that he had to walk with crutches because the blood made his legs bad. And then he used science to splice himself with a vampire bat and made himself a science vampire by accident.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, in especially like older Marvel comics, there are so many scientists that do dumb things and become either villains or heroes.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Help, I did a science and now I'm a lizard. Yeah. I'm the lizard.
Yeah. No, this one he's kind of a Batman, kind of. He has
man bat, kind of a man
bat, but not even that. He has the requisite super strength and agility. He can use his ears like echolocation, when it has this weird effect, like the hairs on his ears like start flipping back and forth like actual bat ears. And then also, I'm not sure how this works, but
wait, how does he do echolocation if he doesn't screech first?
Well, he also screeches.
Okay, good.
Well, he uses it like Daredevil's blind powers. But the one thing, like, I know this is a comic book movie and I shouldn't be tearing it apart. It's fine. But how does a man with just a little bit of vampire bat DNA in him cause him to fly unaided like Superman?
Like he doesn't even grow wings.
No.
That was a perfect opportunity to give him rad bat wings, and they said no.
You know, I think DC would have been like, hey, wait a minute.
No, he just flies around and he has like this weird CG wispy effect that's swirling around him.
Oh, I saw clips of that. It looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks good when it's just him because you can say, oh, it's just kind of his senses, like it's what he's seeing, but it's not what everybody else is saying. But then whenever he is flying against Doctor Who, which, oh yeah, the villain of this is Matt Smith. It's Doctor Who. From here on out, I'm going to call him Doctor Who. They both have it, and it just looks stupid. So he accidentally morbs himself and becomes a living vampire, and he hates himself because, oh no, I have to drink blood, although I'm a scientist and developed synthetic blood years ago, and I drink them like Capri Suns. But the synthetic blood isn't actually, it's losing its effectiveness. So I'm going to have to start drinking real blood soon. Here's the thing. He had a blood disease that required a full blood transfusion 3 times daily.
How is that different than drinking blood?
When he's a vampire, he's able to drink like 1 blood bag like a Capri Sun, and he's good for the day. So it's kind of a net win.
Yeah.
He's also super science doctor man who has more money than he has all the money. So he could just buy bags of blood. He doesn't need to drink people. I mean, I guess maybe it's fresher from the tap.
Must be blood, must be fresh.
But like, it seems to me that there is a very, very clear solution to his problem that he already has and has been using for his entire adult and childhood life. But he's also like a super genius because when he's a kid and living in the blood cancer orphanage for special children
with blood diseases,
he saves.
It's a real long title on a plaque.
It is, yes. He saves his best friend's life by fixing his dialysis machine with the spring from a ballport pen.
Okay, yeah.
And his friend grows up, his small blood boyfriend grows up to be Matt Smith, who also has the blood disease.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. So, yeah. It's,
so Morbius saved his life, but he hates him?
No, they are super best friends, but Morbius uses his thing to turn himself into, cure his disease, which it cures his disease. That's good. And when Matt Smith shows up and goes, hey, Morbius, you know all that money I gave you to help cure our disease together because we're best friends? It looks like it worked on you. Can I have some? And Morbius is like, no, this is a curse. No, don't do it. And Matt Smith is like, no, I think I'm just going to steal this syringe full of bat DNA and inject it in myself and give myself bat powers.
I think, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the cure, I think.
Yeah, you know what? I've weighed my options, and dying within the next couple of years or having to drink blood every now and then, I think I'll take my chances. So that's what Matt Smith is he's the highlight of the film. He's actually really, really funny. He's also, he's definitely the bad guy. He does not have the qualms about going around eating people for sustenance.
And they can go out during the day.
Oh yeah, because they're not garlic vampires.
No.
They're not supernatural vampires.
They're science vampires.
There's a very confusing scene in which Morbius meets his kind of girlfriend, also doctor, in a in a diner, and she's
Miss Morbius.
Miss Morbius. Well,
Miss Morbius.
And she offers him a cup of coffee while they're sitting there, and he's like, no thanks, I'm laying off caffeine. And she goes, it's decaf, why don't you take it? So he goes to reach for it and like kind of recoils a little bit, but is play acting. And it took me a minute to go, oh, the cup was sitting in sunlight. So he goes to grab for it and goes, he goes, oh, wait, no, I'm not that kind of vampire. But the scene before it, he met her while they were riding on a bus together in broad daylight. She knew that he didn't have the sun aversion. She knew this.
Oh, God.
Also, there are 2 CIA operatives that are out after Morbius because when you morb out for the first time, you can't control yourself and you eat a bunch of people. So Morbius, who was doing illegal science on a boat,
Killed a bunch of people.
Killed a bunch of bad
The Morboat.
The Morboat, yes.
Quick to the Morb cave.
His speed Morboat. He drank and ate a bunch of immoral mercenaries that he hired to protect himself from himself in case his illegal science went bad. So like they were on his payroll, and he drank them, and so the CIA is after him. Although at one point the CIA said, well, they're kind of bad guys. We don't really care, but we're going to do this anyway.
Wasn't he in international waters, too, to do his science?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
then
that's
FBI,
the whole point.
The FBI has zero jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Well, tell that to...
Movie FBI.
Tell that to, what's his name from Fast and the Furious, Roman from the Fast and the Furious movies, which they give him no comedy lines. They give his partner all of the comedy lines, including a part where they go into Morbius's girlfriend's apartment, and they see, she has a cat. And the partner, the funny partner, is like trying to find the cat in the apartment or whatever. So he picks up the cat's litter box and starts shaking it around, going, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty," which is like shaking poop.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess it's an allegory for what Sony was doing to the audience for this movie, shaking refuse at us, saying, "Hey, you love this, right?"
It's like trying to get a baby to crawl to you by shaking a diaper.
A full diaper. Yeah. So the movie keeps going, and Doctor Who keeps eating people, and Morbius is like, I gotta stop my friend, but also the monster I've become. Oh no. So they end up
I'm morally conflicted.
I'm morally conflicted. So they end up having a third act CGI nightmare fight where they're whipping around and doing the scary Morbius face.
Venom did that too.
Yeah, and then in the climax of the fight, Morbius does a big bat scream, and a bunch of bats come in and swarm Doctor Who, and Morbius also does the hand motions for a Hadouken from Street Fighter, and a bunch of bats just fly at him. He does a bat Hadouken.
Bat-doken.
Yeah, and while
Morb-doken.
Yeah, and while Matt Smith is being swarmed by Bat Smith was being morbed by bats, which he should also be able to control because he has the bat powers.
The same exact.
But don't worry about it. While he's distracted, Morbius runs up and stabs him with a syringe full of blood cancer and kills him.
Who just carries around a syringe of blood cancer?
Morbius. Now, I will say there are a couple of halfway decent lines in the film, believe it or not. There's one early in the movie where Morbius and Doctor Who are talking back and forth and stuff, and they're talking about, Matt Smith is giving Morbius a hard time about his kind of half science girlfriend, and Morbius says, "Oh, hey, how do you know about love?" And he goes, "Oh, I read magazines and I watch romance movies." And Morbius says, "If you start talking about The Notebook again, I'm going to turn around and slowly limp in the opposite direction," which is a funny joke because they're both on crutches at this point. And there's another scene in which, so Morbius needs a science lab to create his blood cancer syringe to stop Doctor Who. So he overhears with his echolocation a couple of thugs trying to pass off counterfeit $100 bills, and they mention they need to get back to the lab to make more $100 bills. So these counterfeiters live in a science lab, and Morbius is like, I need a science lab.
And they're all the same.
And hey, it all works together, So he goes to the counterfeiting lab and starts breaking the fingers of one of the main thug there. And in your action movie, the guy says, "Who are you?" Like crying and like yelling, "Who are you?" And Morbius looks at him and goes, "I am Venom." Because they earlier set up in the movie very clearly that this is in the same universe as Venom. And if you're a supernatural monster man, and there's public knowledge of another monster man somewhere in the United States, why wouldn't you blame your actions on the other well-known monster man? So 2 good lines in the entire film. But the thing that gets me the most,
grinds your gears.
What really grinds my gears are the 2 mid-credit scenes. There are 2 of them because Sony was so convinced that we need to tie this into Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. Also, whenever they show a newspaper saying Michael Morbius vampire on the cover, they just coincidentally pan up just a little bit, and it's the Daily Bugle. Of course, because of course it is, because it's got to be Spider-Man.
I mean, I did see the picture in that, in then one of the shots of the movie. There's like a poster of Spider-Man or something on
that
the
is trailer only. It's not in the film.
Oh,
that is trailer
so like
only.
the big spray painted murderer across Spider-Man.
That is only in the that's trailer only to drum up excitement for Morbius. But no, in the first post-credit sequence, a big cloud of mystical smoke surrounds this universe's New York City. And then it cuts to inside a prison cell. And and then Michael Keaton shows up. And he goes, huh.
It's showtime.
Well, he does the Beetlejuice voice, kind of. And he goes, huh. Hope the food's better here. And then it cuts to a news report saying, hey, this is a weird news article. Some guy named Adrian Toomes just showed up in prison. And we have no record of him. So I guess we're going to let him go free. Which is not how it worked in Spider-Man No Way Home. No. It was all the different universes going into the MCU. It wasn't that they were jumping back and forth between different ones. That makes no sense. But the one that really makes no sense, second mid-credit sequence. There are it's not an end credits, two mid-credit sequence. It cuts to Michael Morbius, who has saved the day by killing his friend with blood cancer, and he's just driving away in his sports car. I guess he doesn't worry about him being
the Morbmobile.
The Morbmobile. I guess he doesn't worry about himself being like a supernatural killer and drinker of blood or whatever. He's just like, I'm just gonna go for a drive. Drives out to the middle of nowhere, gets out of his car and stands all imposing and whatnot. And then out of nowhere, the Vulture in full suit. Which shouldn't exist because he didn't have it in prison. And he also couldn't build one in this universe because he didn't have science from the aliens from Avengers.
The Chitauri?
Yeah, but no, shut up. He just shows up in his full Vulture suit.
In his Spider-Man Homecoming
Yes.
outfit.
And he lands, doesn't take his helmet off. He lands and goes, huh, you're Michael Morbius. I've read about you.
Somewhere.
And he says, I literally quote, I don't know how I got here. Probably Spider-Man's fault. You seem cool. Let's team up.
For what? Let's team up and do crimes.
Yeah. Why?
Let's find
Why?
Let's find 4 other villains and make some sort of sinister collective.
Why? It makes no sense. Why? Huh.
I'm surprised Marvel Studios was like, yeah, we're not going to use Vulture again. You can have him.
I don't understand. I don't get it. But he literally goes, I don't know how I got here. Probably Spider-Man's fault. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's exactly my response when I first saw it. What I do love are all the memes. I love the Morbius memes. People have taken to this movie. There hasn't been a movie that has been so memed since, I think, the Bee movie.
That's on our news items. So we'll get to that.
But I do want to share one that I saw. And this is a deep cut. So people have been replacing things with like Morb. Because, I'm morbing out.
Wait, he actually says that?
He doesn't say that, but he does say, he does say, I'm starting to get hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
I like how you're trying to do clobbering time.
It's Morbin time.
There we go. I like it. But there was one meme online that I saw, and it was a deep cut to Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where it had Morbius on the TV, and it was Space Ghost, and it said, "Nobody cares, Morbi. Nobody cares."
Nobody cares.
And that's a joke for only the 3 of us in this room. But I don't care. It's hilarious. But so that's Morbius. Don't watch it. Or you know what? If you love bad movies, the action's okay. Yes. It kind of sucks, but
don't give anybody money to see this movie.
No, don't spend money to see Morbius. Yeah. Don't do it.
Can't wait for it to pop up on Disney Plus.
On Disney Morbs.
On Morbi Plus.
Morbi Plus. It's a streaming service.
It's like Tubi, but it's movie.
Morbi.
Morbamount Plus. Paramorb.
There it is.
Anyway.
I watched a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I watched the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie.
How was that?
it was very, very good. Like, extremely good. And I thought I was getting tired of these, like, oh, look, we smashed together a bunch of properties.
I clapped when I saw it.
But it's so much more than that.
Oh, good.
There's actually, like, a fun story, a kind of the detective-y story.
Is it like a
Roger Rabbit?
I was gonna say, is this like a modern Roger Rabbit?
It is very much a modern Roger Rabbit. Is it as good? I don't know. I haven't seen Roger Rabbit in like 15 years. But
I used to watch
probably
Roger
more.
Rabbit all the time.
But
I love
yeah.
Who
When I was a
Framed
kid,
Roger Rabbit.
I loved it.
it's
Yeah.
definitely a good modern version of that concept.
Cool.
It's not just things Disney owns. They go cross.
I saw they had Sonic.
Well, yeah, they have Ugly Sonic, who is the Sonic from the trailer before they fixed it.
They got internet bullied.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I read that they didn't have to get permission for that because it's parody.
Oh, really?
Because they always refer to him as Ugly Sonic.
Oh.
And he has different features. Then
Yeah.
it's okay. It's a dumb Starbucks situation.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah.
But don't go into it expecting like this is the show that I loved as a child and it's a new version of that. It is not
The
that.
trailers made it very clear that that's not what you were
Like,
looking
yeah.
going into
it's
it
like
for.
they were actors in a TV show.
Yeah, and honestly, if it was just plain Rescue Rangers, it wouldn't
work
be
quite
any
as well.
good.
Yeah.
That's just a goofy cartoon from the 90s that you'd have to build a lot on top of to make a movie out of it.
Yeah.
And this approach is much better. There is a lot of fun cameos that you wouldn't expect, but beyond that, the writing itself is funny, and the story, the development of the characters, where Dale learns to not be so selfish and Chip learns to
Loosen up.
Okay.
Like, it's fun, and
Well, it's a partial Lonely Island film anyway, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's done by the guys who, yeah.
and it's up to their level
And their
of
level.
quality.
Okay, well then good. Yeah, then I'm in.
And is technically a kids movie, but just barely.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on board.
That's great.
You could very easily watch this without a child, and it's fine. Like,
Cool.
I mean, I pretty much loved it. It was really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm probably going to watch it this
Yeah.
weekend.
I don't want to spoil the plot.
Yeah,
and stuff.
don't spoil the plot. We only spoil the plot of bad things here.
God, I don't know what to choose. I don't know
Well,
if
while you're thinking, I can go do a quick one.
all right.
I watched a pilot for a crowd-funded show on YouTube that is what if they took the Riverdale treatment and applied it to Scooby-Doo? It's called Mystery Inc., and it is surprisingly good. Like, it's just as ridiculous and over the top and like melodramatic as Riverdale.
I think that makes more sense
But
than
if-
Riverdale.
It fits better with the Scooby-Doo crew.
Yeah.
It takes place in Coolsville, Ohio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wasn't that where a pup named Scooby Doo took place?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, there are allusions to all Scooby-Doo franchises, including the Hex Girls from the Witch's Curse, and also the Cult of Van Ghoul, Vincent Van Ghoul from 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Yeah, so, I mean, the show opens with Fred coming down in the middle from his second story of his house in the middle of the night to witness his parents being murdered by a demon ghost. Like an actual ghost that he swings at with a baseball bat and evaporates into thin air. And this episode, it's the pilot. They're introducing all the characters, and they, that you have the Shaggy character who everyone calls Norville, but he's secretly the rave guy Shaggy, and his dog Scooby, who is in this. Scooby doesn't talk, but Shaggy talks to Scooby and responds as though he's talking to him as a means to calm his nerves.
Huh.
Which is an interesting take.
Yeah.
Also, there's a throwaway line of Scooby being a retired police dog, so he is kind of a detective dog.
That's cool.
So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Scooby or Shaggy's dad is the sheriff of Coolsville, so he's and Shaggy is also a reluctant drug dealer.
I feel like in Mystery Inc., wasn't Fred's dad the sheriff?
mayor.
Oh, he was the mayor.
He was the mayor. Daphne, the show starts with all four of them not knowing each other, and by the end of the first episode, only Fred and Velma have teamed up.
Huh.
Because Fred is kind of obsessed with finding out what this thing was that killed his parents, and Velma's like, "Oh, you mean this thing that looks exactly like what my mom saw when my dad was killed?" So, long story short, they go to Velma's alcoholic's mom's occult bookstore and accidentally summon the Minor 49er from a spooky book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they actually call him the Minor 49er in it. They say, "Oh, this ghost, he looks like a miner," and Velma's like, "There hasn't been any an active mine in this town since 1849." So later on in the episode, Fred just calls him, "Oh, we got to go stop that Minor 49er guy."
I hope the kooky space kook shows up.
Well, the next one is the nasty knight or the ghost knight from original Scooby-Doo.
That's like the first
No,
episode.
I thought the creeper was the first
No,
episode.
no.
Yeah.
It's the first one's either the knight or a mummy.
Yeah, it's one of the early ones. And then there are allusions to other Hanna-Barbera shows. Like, for example, at one point, Fred's family lawyer comes in and says, "Hey, you can either go stay with you're 17, you could either go stay with your aunt and uncle out of town, or you could technically be illegally emancipated. Your family left you the house in your name, so like we could do this." His lawyer's name is Harvey. Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Nice.
There are so many references to different things. There was some obscure Hanna-Barbera cartoon where someone had something called Joy Juice. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a reference, and that is the town drug of choice that Shaggy has being bullied into dealing by a bunch of jocks at Coolsville High School.
What was the drug in Riverdale? That is stupid
Jingle
name.
Jangle. And
Yeah.
they name drop Jingle Jangle as well. Yeah. The only everyone acts pretty decently in it. It's a fan thing. They want to kickstart it and try to get enough money for 13 episodes, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. The only thing is there is not a single teenage actor that passes for a teenager. They don't even pass for 25-year-olds.
Whoa.
Daphne, I mean, perfectly great actress, and boy, if she's not 40. She's got crow's feet lines and everything.
Oh no.
I mean, seriously, she's a great actress and fairly believable once she starts acting. But when she first came up on screen, I'm like, oh, that's weird. Daphne's mom looks just like Daphne from the cartoon. Wait, oh no.
No.
So, in reference to the Joy Juice,
Yes,
a character named Flim Flam from the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo
that's it.
had a bottle of lots of Lucky Joy Juice.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, Flim Flam.
Yep.
Nope.
No,
thanks.
no. But no, it's good. The first episode is free on YouTube, and like I said, they're trying to kickstart the series. They have their Indiegogo has enough for the next episode, and I think what they're going to do is try to go episode by episode.
That's probably the
see if they can get
smarter
enough.
thing to do.
They're like, if we can make $1 million right now, we can go ahead and greenlight everything. But if they can make 10 to 15,000 per episode, they can do it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out. Mystery Incorporated is what it's called.
Warner Brothers doesn't hammer down on them. I mean, it's
they're
probably
not
parody, but
I think it's different enough to be considered parody, and also they're not making money off of the show itself. They're making money
to make the show.
So
It's
so there's no ads.
I mean,
in
it's like
it.
It's like any other fan project.
Yeah. Until Warner Brothers decides that they want to do something like this, then they'll crack down on
See,
it.
I
They
wonder
should
how.
just hire them.
Yeah.
I wonder how this will compare to Mindy Kaling's Velma show, though.
I see. I don't know. It might. Well, I see that as being more of a comedy. This is,
And also, that's
this
animated.
This
Yeah.
is at most black comedy, if not full on teen drama, 20-something drama.
Do we want to just go long on the check it out?
Yeah, just keep going.
Because
Let's keep
Josh
going.
hasn't gotten a turn yet.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I got a couple of things.
Sure.
I saw Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah. Man, I love the first one so much, but there's no way.
You know, I watched the first one and I was kind of mad about it. And the second one I was definitely mad about. But like watching the second one and then immediately going and watching the third one, it makes zero sense.
Really?
Because in the second one, one of Grindelwald's big things about wanting to start a war with the non-magical humanity is because there's tragedy coming, and he even shows like a big magical hologram, whatever, of basically the beginning of World War II.
Oh, right.
Concentration camps.
I remember that, yeah.
And the atomic bomb.
Yeah, he's like, we got to stop these humans before they really start screwing stuff up.
Yeah, like the you know, how long before they turn their weapons against us, and yada, yada, yada.
That's fun things to think about when I go to see my fun Magic Boy movies.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you get into this movie.
Humanity's worst atrocities.
Yeah. And then we get into this movie, and it's basically he wants to impose magical humanity as the ruling class of the world because they're just better. Also, you know, there's the whole like, you know, purebloods, yada 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 yada.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's so they they took a villain where it's like he's doing bad stuff and his logic is maybe flawed, but you can kind of see the pieces of what he's wants to do, and now it's just like, oh no, he's just a cartoon villain.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty
much.
Now he's just magic racist.
Yeah,
that's a bummer.
I don't know. Harry Potter's dead to me.
I mean, to be fair, they kind of get into that a little bit in the second movie because when Ezra Miller and
oh, he's not coming back.
There's another winner.
Oh no, Ezra Miller's in all three.
Oh, he's not coming back for the fourth one.
Well, I think his character might have died in the third one.
Good.
They don't really...
Well, it's going to be hard for him to act while in jail in Florida for messing up people's... Hawaii, rather, for messing up people's homes multiple times.
Man, there's so much talk of like of people petitioning Warner Brothers to get him kicked out of the stuff.
They're trying to... Apparently there was a meeting to see how much of the Flash would have to be reshot to get him removed as the Flash in the Flashpoint movie, the movie starring him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hawaii, I saw a car the other day with Hawaii plates on it, and I was like, How did it get here?
Is it a boat car?
It was just like a regular car, like not one that would be worth like paying a bunch of money to put on boat.
Somebody did.
Boat.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
either that,
probably cheaper than buying a new car. I guess
maybe.
I don't know.
Hawaii is really far away.
Yeah,
it is.
It's just like
that is
why
a true fact.
Are you here, and how did you get here?
Unless they just took the plates off the car at home
True.
and brought it to the one here. I don't know. That's weird.
We're an educational show here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hawaii is far.
So anyway, the
Secrets of Dumbledore.
Secrets of Dumbledore. How is Dumbledore in it? Is he Dumbledore-licious?
I don't know, but surprisingly enough, they come right out of the gate because like the whole movie starts with Dumbledore sitting in a Muggle restaurant or whatever, waiting for someone to show up, and it's Mad Mikkelsen's because he is the new Grindelwald.
Oh sure, yeah, of course.
Let's not touch on any of that.
Yeah.
The less said about all of that, the better. But well, Mads Mikkelsen's all right.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. But they kind of have like this banter back and forth, and they almost like an Xavier or Magneto kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you would have, and he's like, Albus, you would have followed me for anything. And then he's like, well, it's because I was in love with you. They flat out talk about it.
Well, might as well because this is like supposedly the last one. So burn all the bridges while they can.
Yeah,
I guess. But then they also I'm debating if I should spoil the ending of the movie.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Grindelwald gets away. Grindelwald gets away when the movie. There's no defeat. He doesn't go to wizard prison. I mean, wizard.
Azkaban.
Morbius.
Well, in the
Morbskaban.
Well, in the books, I don't think he went to Azkaban. I think he went to a different wizard prison.
Oh, Jingle Cropus.
That's it.
Yeah, and they hop around like all over the world in this movie, but a good portion of it takes place in Germany.
Alcatraz.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But they go to like the German Ministry of Magic, and it's behind a secret wall in Berlin, and the symbol.
So it's behind a Berlin Wall.
Yeah. That's before that happens.
Yeah, oh, I know.
But
I know. I'm aware.
The symbol.
It's where the Muggles got the idea for it.
The symbol is, a very German-looking eagle, and it's very uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. It's like, this is uncomfortable.
Somebody should have took another pass at that. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know eagles and falcons and stuff are very prominent in German culture throughout their entire history. It's not quite that one, but it's real close.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. The movie was, it was okay, I guess. Jude Law is good in it, and some of it does have kind of like this weird, like magical spy plot to it, because everybody has a different part of the plan. Nobody knows everything, because apparently Grindelwald can see the future. So the whole thing to confuse him, to stop him from being able to stop them from stopping him, was nobody knows everything.
But wait a minute. That doesn't make sense, because that would make sense if he were psychic.
Does he have Garnet's future vision?
But like, if you know the future, you would still be able to see all of the disparate parts being worked together to make the future.
This movie is so full of plot holes, it's ridiculous.
That doesn't make sense. That's almost like saying that if you had bat DNA in you, you can fly like Superman.
He has Garnet's future vision, where it doesn't affect predestination in some sort of way. I don't know.
I mean,
okay.
Garnet can see the different paths, but she can't see what's actually going to happen.
Oh, well, yeah, then that doesn't fit with this movie.
Anyway, it's okay. Versus my other check it out, which was the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, because they came out today. And it was very good, and I liked it a lot.
Oh, cool.
I don't want to get too much into it because I know you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, and we'll save the rest of that discussion for next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all. Well, though, speaking of Jared Leto, we watched.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
We watched Girl Interrupted yesterday.
Oh, he's in that?
Yes.
Oh.
The first time I'd seen that movie in a long, long time. Like, I remember the major players, but then like I'm sitting there and like Winona Ryder's character is hanging out with this guy, and I'm like, why does he look familiar? Why does he look familiar? And I looked him up, I'm like,
It's Michael Morbius.
It's Jared Leto.
Why, that's Michael Morbius, the lead singer of Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Oh, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers is an Obi-Wan.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Weirdly, he does the voice of the kid from Wild Thornberrys the whole time.
Yep.
What was his name? Danny?
I believe so.
I think so.
It's been so long since I watched Wild Thornberrys. I mostly just remember her talking to the monkey.
I watched that show a ton as a kid, and I can remember absolutely nothing about it.
Oh, Nigel Thornberry.
I remember.
Yeah.
Tim Curry. Because
Yeah.
it's Tim Curry.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
Of course.
that's all my check it outs. I don't want to get too deep into Obi-Wan because, it's something we actually care about.
I've been playing a game. I picked up on a lark. I picked up an old game on Switch, Rogue Legacy.
That's a good game.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a roguelike where every time your character dies, it's a dungeon crawler with every.
It's basically Castlevania.
Yeah, it's kind of Castlevania, but every time you load up a new game, the castle layout is different.
Yeah.
And every time you die, you assume the role of your
Next of kin.
That sounds kind of like sort of Ditto a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But this one, your next of kin have all these randomly generated like stat points
And traits.
and stuff like that. Like sometimes you're colorblind, so your run now is in black and white.
That sounds fun.
Or there was a whole bunch of different ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird ones.
Yeah.
Like weird fun stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head because it's been so long.
There's like
since I played
Amnesia
it.
where you can't pull up a map for the entire run.
Ooh.
Like it's like the flavor text is like you can't remember where you are. So it's like you just can't pull up a map and you're just going from room to room blindly. But as you go, the main gameplay loop is you collect gold through your run, And then during the setup phase for your next player, you can add to trait scores or buy new equipment or that. And then once you go back into the dungeon, or at least at the beginning of the game, when you go into the dungeon, the gatekeeper takes all your money, so you start off fresh every time. And there are some things
so you
like,
can't just hoard money.
Yeah.
at this point, I have it so that he only takes 50% of my money at this point, so it actually makes it a lot easier to kind of accumulate stuff.
wealth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you get to use the money to like build your mansion up higher. And,
Yeah, and by building your mansion, you get more defense or more attack power, or this, that, and the other. It's really fun. I mean, it's an old game. I think it was an Xbox 360 or Xbox One
I don't remember.
game. It was something like that. But it
I
has
don't know.
this,
I played it on Steam back in the day.
yeah, it has a cool pixel kind of look to it.
Yeah.
And the sequel just hit version 1.0. It got out of early access finally.
I've been
but it's
meaning
only
to check
on
it out.
But it's not on Switch yet, and I play all my stuff like almost exclusively on Switch at this point. But it's a lot of fun, and it was relatively cheap. It was only like $10-$12 to pick up and download.
I'll bet
it was,
you can get it on sale for like
probably
6
for
or 7.
more than likely. Yeah,
It was originally released in 2013 on Windows.
Oh my god. That was just me. I just died.
2013
That was the sound of me collapsing.
for Windows and Linux, and then PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PS Vita in 2014.
God, it was on PlayStation 3.
it was a PlayStation 3 game. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no.
Xbox One in 2015, and Nintendo Switch in 2018,
Wow.
and
yeah.
iOS in 2019.
Oh, I can't
Yep.
imagine playing that on a
Oh,
phone.
I can't either. Oh, that would feel terrible.
It's hard enough regular. The bosses are real nasty.
They're pretty tough, and I wish the boss life carried over from run to run, like so that when you go into the boss and you got him down to like half health the first time, you can just knock him out a little bit easier. That
keep
way you
chipping
get,
away.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish that they would do. But I understand, games are difficult sometimes. You gotta do it legit. I get it.
Is it like a Souls-like?
At the beginning, actually, a little
kind of
bit.
is, yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to get
Actually, a
in and
little.
like three hits from someone and you're going to be dead after the first round. Like, you're going to die a lot. I think I've died 200 times. The runs take like 5-10 minutes tops. So it's a really easy pick up and go game, and then you can just set it down and do something else. So it's a lot of fun. All right, so we've been doing our check 'em outs for a while. I think we're just going to roll straight into the news at this point. So let me hit the old jingle here. Just thinking, we haven't done a non-stop show in like a while. So
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done our rambling days in a minute.
this is a good rambling day. So let's ramble more about Morbius. Let's talk Morbius about Morbius.
Okay.
So the memes. What kind of memes have you seen from the Morbius?
Well, the funniest thing I think that people have been doing with Morbius
Did he
is
turn himself into a pickle?
that would be the funniest that I've ever seen.
Yes.
Is people have been playing the whole entire film on Twitch. Like
Yes.
just streaming the whole thing
On loop.
And yes, that is against the rules, but they're still
no one
doing it.
cares.
Yeah.
And people have been doing that. I saw someone uploaded a TikTok of the entire movie sped up to 22 seconds.
Huh.
Yeah.
Somebody was streaming the movie and they put extended trailer, and the extended trailer was
The
just
entire movie.
film.
Oh, that's great. That's
I mean,
really good.
Where's the lie?
Listen, at this point, Sony should cut their losses and be like, you know what? Let's just ride this.
Just make it public domain.
If they make a Morbius 2, I guarantee the term "it's Morbin time" is going to show up in it.
Oh, gross.
I guarantee it.
No, because I feel like not Chaim Saban, but whoever owns it now.
Hasbro doesn't care.
No.
They haven't said it's Morphin time in so long. That's not the call anymore. That's just Mighty Morphin call.
What do
Well,
they
then-
say now?
It's whatever.
Yeah, they generally
Dino Fury power up.
Dino Thunder Go.
Power of the sword dinosaur. I don't know.
Henshin.
Yeah, right. They should. But no, yeah, the memes and like how Morbius has become so much bigger than this garbage movie deserves.
And not in a way that'll make Sony any money, which is the best part.
It is the Room level. It's the Room of superhero movies, I think. In fact, that's one thing I forgot to mention. The first third of the movie, there are multiple characters whose entire role in the film is to walk on screen, go, "Hey, Dr. Morbius, you sure are the best person around," and then turn around and leave. Not unlike people in the room saying, "You're my favorite customer." Johnny's so great.
I did not give him blood cancer. I did not.
I did not. I did not cure his blood cancer. I will not.
I will not.
Oh, hi, Vulture.
The last thing I will say, and then hi, Vulture, very good.
That was the after.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing I'll say about it, and then we'll move on to something else because we gotta stop talking about Morbius. But one good thing that Matt Smith does. So Morbius's name is
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, yes. Well, other than Doctor Who, but in this film, so Matt Smith said that he watched a bunch of vampire movies to kind of get ideas for this, and he took a lot of his cues from The Lost Boys. And what is Morbius's first name? Michael. So throughout the entire movie, whenever Matt Smith is being menacing, he is calling out to Morbius, much like Kiefer Sutherland did in The Lost Boys by going, "Michael, come on, Michael."
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it, and I own it on Blu-ray. And I've never watched it.
Well, you should see it. You should watch it recently. But they say the name Michael more than anything else in that script. Like, tauntingly. It's almost like how Job says it in Arrested Development. Michael.
I don't know. The way you said like almost reminded me of like The Warriors.
It is a little bit Warriors-esque as
Come
well.
out and play.
All right, so let's move on to something else. Let's talk about some NES Online.
So they added some new games.
Yeah, what are those dinosaurs over at Nintendo put onto the Nintendo Switch this time?
Well, if you were looking for more games involving cavemen, they got more.
You know I wasn't.
They found another one somehow.
Oh my gosh.
We've got
what was with the 90s and caveman games?
Apparently there was a lot of them.
And they're really easy to license.
Yeah. Because now we have Congo's Caper, about a little caveman monkey boy trying to save his girlfriend from like the devil or something.
Okay.
It's not the worst. I played a little bit of it last night because I hate myself, I guess. But it wasn't it's one of the better caveman games, I would say, on the SNES Online.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess I do. I do understand. They're easy to license. That's what it is. But
what else is public domain other than prehistoric man? No matter what legislation is in play.
The only thing I can figure is the person in charge of picking out games for the Switch Online service is a literal caveman. Oh, Mario RPG bad. Bad, no relate. Cannot relate to Mario RPG. Chuck Rock good. License Chuck Rock.
Mario RPG is on the mini SNES.
Yeah, why isn't it?
Why
on the
is
Switch?
it not on the Switch?
Because there's no cavemen in it.
There's no cavemen.
There's plenty of dinosaurs in the Mushroom Kingdom. You could argue that
Is Gino a dinosaur?
No, he's
Is Mallow a dinosaur?
He's a child's puppet toy.
Then no cavemen.
Yeah. No good. No clubs.
No rock. No rock, no roll.
But there's Thwomp.
Not
He's
caveman,
a living rock.
Not Caveman Ninja. Not BC Racers. Not Caveman Olympics.
You've been sitting on this for a few days, haven't you? You've been wanting to do this
I actually pulled all those caveman games off the top of my head. But I have been sitting on the bit for a couple of days, yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, moving on.
Unga Bunga intensifies.
All right, so moving on here, there is a trailer for the next Disney Plus Marvel show, She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Fine.
Yeah, I thought it
looks
good.
fine. There are people that are complaining about it online that she's not beefy enough.
That's not wrong. I think she could stand to be more muscular.
They're also calling her Fiona from Shrek.
No.
Oh, female with green skin, automatically
Yeah.
Fiona.
That is racist.
Yeah, that's bad. I think it looks charming. I think it looks funny.
Yeah, I think the show looks great.
And yeah, the muscles need a little more definition, but in the comics, She-Hulk isn't built like Hulk. She-Hulk is built like
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. But even then, I don't think she's Wonder Woman. She needs to look more like Natalie Portman in Thor.
I think that's the biggest thing. There are actresses in real life who are bigger than CGI She-Hulk.
Jennifer Walters.
Yeah.
But I don't think this should be a deal breaker.
I don't
for
think no.
anybody.
I think it's I think this is going to be more of a comedy series. And
I mean,
think
if they give it as much of the comic treatment as Hawkeye got,
yeah,
it should be fine.
And the CG they said is not final. They just slapped together a trailer because
they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because they were told they had to by this point because it's part of the algorithm.
And they've talked about it so long and we still hadn't actually seen her too.
Yeah.
So it was about time.
And it looks fine. I mean,
also more Mark Ruffalo. That's fine.
Mark Ruffalo's good. Tatiana Mansla, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. She seems like she's going to fit in really well. I liked her stuff in Orphan Black. She's a good actress. I think she'll be fine.
I think it's mostly just buttheads that want something to complain about.
Yeah.
Finding this CG not being perfect and latching onto that.
At this point, there are more and more people that are waiting for Marvel and the MCU to slip. And they're looking for stuff.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
people
it is.
who see a female-led superhero show and say, no.
Oh, yeah, those people are wrong, and they're bad, and they should feel bad.
Well, and
I'm glad-
they're like, Stan Lee's be rolling in his grave. Why can't you make an original character without knowing that Stan Lee created She-Hulk?
Partially created the character.
Partially, yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, come on. I love the fact that they are building on more of the female younger crowd of characters like She-Hulk, Kamala Khan, stuff like that.
Well, they kind of had to because they front loaded the MCU with a bunch of white dudes.
Yeah.
It's good to have something different. Diversity is good. Not saying that white dude superheroes are bad. I'm just saying there is room for others. There are much room for others.
Look how many shows there are. There are so many shows.
So many shows. All right, last thing. And
this is something
It's
you've been wanting.
Morbius.
it's Morbius. No, so we're going to report a little bit about tax fraud.
And it's not Yoshi.
It's not Yoshi.
Wait, what?
Yoshi commits tax
He
fraud.
does.
What does that have to? What?
He always, it's a known thing.
It's a known thing.
What
Yoshi
he does.
commits tax fraud. Yeah. No, anyway, I'm not going to explain it. I just want you to be confused.
Specifically, tax evasion.
Yes. No. So so there was a report from the U.S. government. There was a bunch of arrests in Texas.
Yes, the state of Texas.
Apparently a bunch of people had defrauded the COVID-19 Small Business Relief Fund by basically claiming that they had more employees than they actually did, that they needed more funds than they actually did, and they used a lot of the funds for personal use instead of towards their businesses.
Yeah.
And so there were a bunch of names. There's like 16 names on this list that they were all arrested and arraigned. One of them happened to be a gentleman by the name of Jason Lawrence Geiger. And he had
no relation to the painter.
Right. He had a couple of aliases on the actual arraignment. These are actually on the arraignment. Jason Lawrence Geiger, a.k.a. Austin St. John, a.k.a. the Red Ranger. There is a actual government document stating his name is the Red Ranger.
They didn't have to do that, but they did.
Yeah, so Jason from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Season 1 and Partial 2, and he came back in ZO and that sort of thing.
The original Red Ranger.
The original Red Ranger committed some COVID relief fraud and is allegedly, although they wouldn't be arraigning these people, if they wouldn't have arrested these people if
they didn't have
there wasn't
evidence.
some kind of smoke to this fire.
Yeah.
Of course, he is vehemently denying it from a statement from his entertainment publicist. Not his lawyer.
It's one of his many employees.
One of his many employees. But apparently the thing stated that he acquired roughly $225,000 and used $192 of it for personal use.
Woof.
That was supposed to go to his small business. Is the small business being, "Hi, I'm the Red Ranger. Let's go to conventions."
Yeah.
I thought he was like a firefighter or an EMT or something.
He was a military EMT after he left Power Rangers.
Okay.
But he came back in a big bad way after a few years ago. I was lucky enough to go to one of his first conventions when he came back, when he was charging almost nothing for his autographs and pictures, because there's no way I would pay the money now.
Is that where you got that one?
Yep, sure is.
He saw the money Jason David Frank was making for doing very little, and like, I want me some of that.
Yeah, time to get on that con circuit. So, I don't wish the downfall of anyone, but if he truly did
defraud the U.S. government,
do something illegal,
if he did the
then
crime,
he should do the time.
Zordon is so disappointed, though.
The actor, actually,
What?
David Fielding on Twitter the night that all this went down, there was just one tweet that he just goes, "Well, how's your night going?" Because I'm sure he got a million questions about it as well.
Do you think he defrauded Zordon during the in the fiction of the show?
Oh, absolutely. Well, he was the Gold Ranger when he came back to Zeo. He stole the powers from those three guys that was one Power Ranger. Trey of Triforia.
Hey, Zordon, I need to borrow like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
for bus fare home.
Yeah.
He's like, I can teleport you. I just need a couple bucks.
Well, if he needs a good lawyer, I know where they can find one. The Red Ranger from Lost Galaxy only acted to
fund law
school. So he's like a lawyer in like Connecticut or something now.
I think it's funny he has little action figures of himself on his desk.
Oh yeah, he has a bunch of pictures that say "Better Call Leo" because his character was Leo in the show. And it's like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, it looks like the Better Call Saul logo.
Yeah. Oddly enough, this is not the worst thing a Red Power Ranger has done.
That's true.
Yeah. Remember that time a year and a half ago when Wild Force Red killed his roommate with the samurai sword?
Over an alleged drug money?
As allegedly, it was self-defense or drug money. Yeah.
But if it was a Power Ranger sword, though.
Oh, that would have been the best.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Oh man, the legacy,
the legacy power sword.
Yeah, from Mighty Morphin, the actual diecast metal one,
replica power sword. Yeah. So yeah, I don't wish ill on most folks, but if he did the crime, he's got to do.
He's got to go to Morphin jail.
Yeah, I hope that they look into his funds and maybe perhaps look into some of the actions of some of the other Power Rangers. And maybe look into the Yellow Ranger, Karen Ashley, where she took all that money for the order from that Indiegogo and did nothing with it. Where's my movie, Karen? I gave you $20. Where's my movie, Karen?
For a second there, I was like, leave Trini alone. She passed away.
No, Trini's fine. It's Karen Ashley who's the alleged fraudster. Allegedly. No, There's no alleged. Until that movie comes out, there is no alleged. She pocketed over $100,000 of fan money and did
including
nothing.
Yours.
Including 20 of mine, and did nothing with it.
Are they going to lock Austin St. John up in like a tube like Zordon?
It's either a tube or a dumpster and throw him on the moon. Much like Rita.
Yeah, for 1,000 years.
Yeah, I think it's weird that the state of Texas hired Goldar to write the arraignment. I mean, or the form or whatever. He called him out like, "Red Ranger, I'm going to throw you in prison, Red Ranger, to the prison dimension." And with that, I think we've hit time. Yep, we've done it. Let's go ahead and wrap things up for the week. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, and TikTok at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com. Just whatever you want, ideas, questions, comments. Same with our new improved hotline. That's the same hotline. It's 586-372-8020. It is working now. Give us a call. Leave us a message.
Yeah, the new part is that it works now.
Yeah.
You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
I think we should change the name of the show to Nerd Overload Plus, just to fit in with all the streaming services.
Nerd Morbilode.
Oh, no. You're going to the jail dimension.
Morbulode.
Okay, you're fired.